Chapter 91 Young Master, Save Me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this time, Qin Feng and others came to the busiest flower street in the city. The whole street was full of voices, and all the gentlemen of the city gathered. Boss, what are we doing here? Xian Jun and Wan Ma's eyes lit up. Of course I'm here to do something serious. Qin Feng was dressed in white, holding a folding fan, and his romantic attribute was immediately full, which attracted passers-by to look sideways. Serious? Xianjun and Wanma immediately became excited, wondering if they were serious about it. That's it. Qin Feng came to a house with antique decoration, and he knew it was a serious flower building just by the name, Home Courtyard. Hey, this young master is new to me, is it your first time? A plump woman with a professional smile stepped forward to greet her with professional procuress steps, relying on her intuition for many years in the industry. Qin Feng and his party are definitely not simple, especially the leader. Qin Feng is so extravagant, with a tianbao gourd hanging on his waist. He definitely comes from those aristocratic families. It's my first time here. After Qin Feng entered, he looked around. I am not interested in those vulgar fans at all, but I am attracted to the decoration style of this Home Courtyard. He has been the son of God in the Moon God Palace for 7 years, and his vision is not ordinary. If any young lady is pulled out from the Moon God Palace, he can beat the vulgar fans of this border town. The reason why I came here is to buy a flower house, and set up a game for Feng Chang to see if it can be successful. According to the secrets he saw with the secret card, Feng Chang would stay in this kind of place not for the purpose of fighting a cold war, but because it is convenient for hiding here. As we all know, Hualu is a must-go place for the chosen one. Here they will meet heroines or female partners with tragic life experiences. Even if they are a murderous devil, they will feel pity for them, and thus rely on the attributes of romantic talents to embrace the beauty. In other words, he intends to do what he likes and create a beautiful encounter for Feng Chang. The plump bustard enthusiastically introduced, "This young master has come to the right place. Our Home Courtyard is the most famous flower building in Luohua City, and there are 4 famous prostitutes sitting in it. 4 famous chickens." Qin Feng couldn't help blurting out, "Xiaoniao, Gomko, Ashio, Mengbai." The plump bustard deserves to be a professional, but she was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, "As long as you like it, they will be called Xiaoniao, Gomko, Ashio, and Mobai." Fuck, we're on stage. Qin Feng waved his hands and took out 10 top-grade spirit stones, and said, "For the next 3 days, your master of Home Academy will take over, and everyone including you must obey my orders. Is there any problem?" Extreme Lingsure. The plump woman stared at the top-grade spirit stone, her eyes sparkled excitedly and said, "No problem, no problem, whatever you say, you can do whatever you want, no matter what you do to them, they can tolerate everything." Xiao Bai, who was sitting on Qin Feng's shoulder, suddenly stopped eating carrots. Just now, the moment Qin Feng opened his portable space and took out the top-quality spirit stones, he sensed that there was a mountain of top-quality spirit stones in it by virtue of his spatial supernatural powers, which at least cost more than 3,000 million yuan. Good guy. More than 3,000 million top-grade spirit stones. It has always thought that he was a poor rabbit born in an ordinary family. He was taught by Qin Feng that children from poor families should be able to start a family early. For 7 years, he has lived a hard and simple life selling plain underwear. Unexpectedly, these are all illusions, it is a real Fugue rabbit. Xiao Bai couldn't calm down for a long time, and the carrot in his hand suddenly lost its fragrance. At this time, Qin Feng ordered people to take off the signboard of Home Courtyard and replace it with a signboard written by himself. Don't miss it. Young master, this name. The plump woman's expression was indescribable, and she felt that the new name was a bit explicit. That's what I want. Qin Feng looked at the whole Huajie. There was only one family with such a unique name. I believe Feng Chang would definitely take a second look among the crowd. At the same time, according to Qin Feng's request, the variety demon lord changed into the appearance of Feng Chang's first love, Princess Nan Feng. It doesn't need to be 100% identical, too perfect will easily reveal flaws, as long as they are 7 or 8% similar, no matter how ruthless Feng Chang is after being enchanted. He will definitely be moved when he meets the face of his first love. Also, in order to prevent Feng Chang from seeing the flaw, Qin Feng also specially spent 1 villain points from the system to exchange for an aura concealment talisman to hide the aura of the variety demon lord. Now everything is ready, waiting for the protagonist to appear on the stage. Is this really okay? After being transformed, the variety demon monarch sits on the second floor covered with a veil, and below is a group of gentlemen who are attracted by him. In a small border town like theirs, when had they ever seen such stunning beauty? Even if only half of their face was exposed, it was enough to cause an unprecedented commotion in Luohua City. I'll go, this guy really can change anything. Thousands of troops and 10,000 horses secretly glanced at the variety demon lord, and there was a bold idea in their hearts, and they didn't know whether to say it or not. Soon, a figure in black robe appeared on Huajie. Looking carefully, it was not Feng Chang they were waiting for. Originally, he just wanted to spend the night in this kind of fake place, and waited for a chance to go out of the city and return to the great Xia dynasty tomorrow. Who knew that when he arrived at Huajie, he was attracted by the signboard of a family that must be missed. Damn it, it's really here. The variety demon lord was not calm on the spot, and felt that Qin Feng was unpredictable in his heart. He chased Feng Chang for half a month without success, and Qin Feng waited for the rabbit to come to his door. Don't get excited, calm down, Jie 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 Jie, little brother, I will love you dearly. The variety demon lord took a few deep breaths to calm down, followed the method Qin Feng taught him, and rushed out of the door that must not be missed. No, Miss Dongfang has run away. Miss Dongfang is Qin Feng's nickname for the ever-changing demon monarch. The whole flower building suddenly became chaotic, and a group of big men rushed out from behind and chased Miss Dongfang. Feng Chang outside heard the movement, turned his head subconsciously, and saw a beautiful young lady rushing towards him with a terrified face. Although the other party was covered with a veil and only half of his face was exposed, it still made his heart tremble uncontrollably. South Wind. Master, save me. Miss Dongfang grabbed Feng Chang's hand, her eyes filled with terrified pleas. I want to run after entering the flower building. A group of big men quickly caught up and grabbed Miss Dongfang, and forcibly pulled him and Feng Chang away. Master, save me. Miss Dongfang kept Qin Feng's words in mind, and she must not be in a hurry when facing a creature like Feng Chang, and should show a weak, pitiful, and helpless expression. This moment, looking at Miss Dongfang's helpless eyes, Feng Chang's already frozen heart melted a little. Should I reveal my identity to save this unknown woman, or turn around and leave as if I didn't see it? You bloody bitch, you want to kill me. The plump bastard hurried out and yelled at Miss Dongfang angrily. She didn't know how this Miss Dongfang offended Qin Feng. She only knew that Qin Feng hired Yihong Courtyard to sell this Miss Dongfang. If she were allowed to run away now, they would all be in bad luck. Miss Dongfang, it looks like she was forced. A group of gentlemen felt heartbroken and prepared to send some warmth to Miss Dongfang. At this time, a gust of nighttime breeze blows off Miss Dongfang's veil, revealing a beautiful face with eyebrows like emerald feathers, skin like white snow, and teeth like shellfish. Fuck. The gentlemen went crazy on the spot, saying that they must send warmth. How come? Feng Chang is like a fresh meat in a cheap ancient puppet show, and finally there is a slight change in the face of the dead fish. Unexpectedly, this Miss Dongfang was 7 or 8% similar to Princess Nanfeng. At this time, the variety demon lord also kept Qin Feng's words in mind. In order to successfully attract the attention of the chosen one, besides having a beautiful appearance, the most important thing is the eyes. I saw that his eyes gradually lost the starlight, with an expression that his fate was unfair and that I was about to accept my fate. Since this is a true portrayal of being stamped with the seal of immortal Nu, he acted in his true colors, and immediately captured the hearts of all the gentlemen in the audience, and also made Feng Chang's beating speed up. The plump bastard strikes while the iron is hot. Everyone, today is the day our Miss Dongfang will come out of the court. No matter young or old, beautiful or ugly, the highest bidder will get it. Not out yet. The gentleman erupted on the spot, howling wolves. South Wind. Feng Chang looked at Miss Dongfang in a daze, thinking of his first love, Princess Nanfeng. at the beginning, I couldn't protect Princess Nan Feng and let her be bullied by that bitch Qin Feng. Now how can I watch this Miss Dongfang fall into the pack of wolves? As for the sixth child who was hiding in the dark, he probably thought too much, probably due to the sequelae of meeting Qin's sixth brother. Chapter 92 I'm for his good. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this time, Qin Feng is in the private room on the second floor, seeing everything downstairs, exactly as he expected. As long as the variety demon lord is not a pig teammate, Feng Chang's flower will wither today. Boss, you are really amazing. That the eyes of Qianjun and Wanma are full of admiration, and their admiration for Qin Feng is like a surging river. They had heard about how evil this Feng Chang was. In just 1 month, he killed several cities in the Yinhua dynasty, and the angry emperor of the Six Paths sent a large number of masters to surround him, but in the end, no matter how tight the roundup was, he would run away, and he even killed many people instead, making people call Feng Chang worthy of a devil emperor. But it was this man with the qualifications of a devil emperor who was played by their boss. Wait until you let go of the asking price. Why don't you want the money delivered to your door? Knowing that Feng Chang is now a wanted criminal, Qin Feng is anxious to go back to the Great Xia dynasty and enter the Kunlun secret realm, not daring to make a move easily in Luohua city. Therefore, it is impossible to grab it hard, and we can only bid honestly according to the rules. This child. Qianjun and Wanma looked at Feng Chang and mourned for him for 3 minutes. The boss of their family not only missed his body, but also missed the spirit stone in his wallet. This time it cost me 10 top-quality spirit stones, and I have to pay back. Thinking of those 10 top-grade spirit stones, Qin Feng felt a heartache, and was going to go to the official office of Hualuo City to report Feng Chang as a wanted criminal after the variety demon lord changed his life against the sky. How much can pay back the book? Qianjun and Wanma were completely stunned, and a big shit appeared in their hearts. This is not to squeeze Feng Chang to the extreme, never give up. At the same time, the two also expressed that their hearts will always belong to the boss, and they will never give him an excuse to sell themselves. I'm helping him, Qin Feng explained with a righteous face. Hard work tempers the will, and adversity creates talents. Qianjun and Wanma stared blankly at Qin Feng with an expression of believing it or not. Wow, that makes sense. Xiao Bai, who was picky about eating, was full of admiration, and found that he still had a lot to learn. No. If you can eat carrots, you will be a cheap middle-aged rabbit. Xiao Bai picked up the carrot and began to eat it. The carrot he ate today is for the realization of the freedom of heaven, material and earth treasures tomorrow. The plump bastard entered the private room with a smile and reported to Qin Feng Hui, young master, we have made arrangements. Miss Dongfang can enter the auction at any time. Okay. Qin Feng nodded in satisfaction and said, when you introduce this Miss Dongfang, you will say that she offended the third holy son, Qin Feng, and was slaughtered by Qin Feng, and finally became a prostitute. What? The plump bastard's legs softened in fright, and she immediately knelt down to Qin Feng. What a joke. The holy son of the Yinhua dynasty is equivalent to a prince. Even if the third holy son has a problem with his integrity, and there are rumors that he is abolished recently, she would not dare to slander the holy son if she had 10 guts. Let you just say it. Qianjun's face turned cold, and he took out a jade pendant. After Qin Feng became the third holy son, the emperor of the Six Paths ordered someone to specially create an identity token, on which was written the third holy son Qin Feng. You are the holy son Qin Feng, the number 1 arrogant man in ancient times. The plump old bastard stared wide-eyed, only feeling his head buzzing. Soon. The Hall of Chicken Can't Lose is overcrowded. Miss Dongfang sat on the stage with a dead face, causing a group of gentlemen in the audience to feel distressed, and vowed to let this fairy-like beauty feel the warmth of the world. Everyone. With the backing of Qin Feng, the plump old bastard walked on the stage with a flutter, smiled and said, this Miss Dongfang comes from a rich family. Because she didn't want to serve the third holy son Qin Feng, she was slaughtered by the third holy son Qin Feng, and even more so. Throw this fairy-like beauty into the flower building, if you want to make her filthy. Everyone, don't miss this opportunity, don't miss it again. As soon as the words fell, the audience erupted. Coming from a big family, no wonder it's so beautiful. I have long heard that the third holy son, Qin Feng, has vicious tactics, but I never thought that he could even do this to such a beautiful beauty. He even cares about a beauty even if he can do anything to his own brother. Sitting in the private room on the second floor, Qin Feng took out a small notebook to write down those who spoke ill of him. Qianjun and Wanma were completely stunned in place, and a big shit appeared in their hearts. Based on their understanding of Qin Feng, he definitely didn't write down his name to invite someone to dinner, but most likely to invite the whole family to dinner. At the same time, the words of everyone in the audience undoubtedly hurt Feng Chang. This Miss Dongfang is very similar to him. They were originally a high and inviolable existence, but it was because the bitch Qin Feng fell into the quagmire and got covered in filth, which also strengthened his determination to rescue Miss Dongfang. Miss Oriental. Feng Chang is like a little fresh meat acting online, looking at Miss Dongfang with a dead fish face. I saw that Miss Dongfang's face was ashen. Only when she looked at him, she would show a little expression, as if she was begging herself to save her, proving that she hadn't given up yet, and she still had an attachment to something in her heart. The plump bastard smiled and said, "Everyone, the auction has begun, and the one with the highest bid can enter Miss Dongfang's boudoir for a kiss. 100 spirit stones. I want to kiss Fangza with 100 spirit stones, 1,000 spirit stones. 1 spirit stones. 100 top-quality spirit stones." A cold voice sounded, causing all the gentlemen in the audience to look at Feng Chang. 1 top-grade spirit stone is equivalent to 1,000 ordinary spirit stones, and 100 is 100,000 ordinary spirit stones, which is definitely a huge sum of money in a border town like theirs. 1,000 top-grade spirit stones. According to Qin Feng's instructions, Qianjun doubled 10 times directly. Wanma was a little worried. "Boss, what if we call the price like this and scare Feng Chang away?" "Do not worry." Qin Feng didn't worry about Feng Chang ran away at all. According to his experience as a 10-year-old bookworm, since readers like this, dog writers have followed suit one after another, invisibly adding this stupid attribute of spending a lot of money to pigs' feet. "Okay." Feng Chang looked at the private room on the second floor. He didn't expect there to be rich people here. However, as the savior of the great Xia dynasty, he has a lot of spirit stones on him, not to mention that he has just slaughtered several cities, and his worth is definitely not comparable to that of ordinary people. 10,000 top-quality spirit stones. 100,000 top-grade spirit stones. 15 million top-grade spirit stones. 100 million top-grade spirit stones. All the gentlemen in the audience watched the two sides yelling at each other, and felt that the little ones couldn't bear it. Millions of top-grade spirit stones. Feng Chang's dead fish face finally changed. He didn't expect the other party to be so rich and powerful. Originally, he already had the idea of giving up, but after seeing the pleading in Miss Dongfang's eyes, he gritted his teeth and called out 150 million top-quality spirit stones. "Oh my God, 150 million top-quality spirit stones." The audience erupted in an instant, and they all looked at Feng Chang. For a seductive woman, he actually spent 150 million top-grade spirit stones just to kiss Fangza. Either he was mentally ill, or his brain was kicked by a donkey. "Boss." Qianjun and Wanma turned to look at Qin Feng and asked if they wanted to increase the price again. "Master, no more bids." Miss Dongfang looked nervously at the private room on the second floor where Qin Feng was, shouting crazily in her heart, 150 million top-grade spirit stones are almost the same. Don't delay my bridal chamber. Bah, it's a change of fate against the sky to become the emperor. Chapter 93 Confirmed Eyes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. All right. Qin Feng thought for a while, and decided to accept it as soon as it was good, although he knew that the chosen son's possessions must be more than 150 million top-quality spirit stones, compared with a subordinate who won the position of emperor. No matter how many top-quality spirit stones he had, it was only a drop in the bucket. The spirit stone can be picked up later, but the long flowers must wither today. 150 million top-grade spirit stones once. 150 top-grade spirit stones twice. 150 million top-grade spirit stones 3 times. 150 million top-quality spirit stones are sold, congratulations to this young man. The plump old bustard's cheeks were flushed with excitement, until now she felt like she was dreaming. There really is a fool who would invest 150 million top-quality spirit stones for a prostitute. All I can say is that you can do whatever you want with money. Hoo hoo. Feng Chang breathed a sigh of relief. If the other party really raises the price, he can only take the person away forcibly at the risk of revealing his identity, but fortunately, he is a pig's foot from time travel, and these scumbags alone can't affect his pretense at all. In particular, after seeing his victory, Miss Dongfang regained her spirits in her eyes, showing unprecedented surprise, and she even shone with admiration when she looked at him. Ah! It should be the light of worship, not the eyes of the hunter when he meets his prey. Soon, after Feng Chang paid for the spirit stone, he walked into Miss Dongfang's boudoir under the envious eyes of a group of gentlemen. The room was lit with red candles, flickering with a faint red light, accompanied by a faint fragrance. Miss Dongfang, I'm just out of sympathy for you, it's not out of place. Feng Chang felt that he was a generation of cruel devil kings, but he still had the dead fish face expression of a cheap puppet show. What the hell? It was exactly as the owner said. Miss Dongfang called her a good guy in her heart, and felt that Qin Feng was unfathomable. After he transformed into this look, Qin Feng told him how to conquer the dead fish face little fresh meat. In addition to asking him to make a certain expression at a certain time, he also told him that once the other party became a gentleman, he would have sex with him, and chant poems. I know that a prostitute like me will insult the prestige of the young master. Miss Dongfang entered the scene in a second, and whispered softly to herself, a pair of jade arms can be used as a pillow for thousands of people, and a little bit of red lips can be tasted by thousands of people. Pretend to be a delicate figure, and pretend to be a fake heart. Miss Dongfang misunderstood, I don't mean that. Feng Chang couldn't help frowning slightly. Ever since he entered this room, he felt very uncomfortable. Originally, he wanted to take Miss Dongfang and leave here quickly, but when he heard Miss Dongfang reciting poems, he saw the face of his first love that was, % similar to Princess Nanfeng. He couldn't help but wanted to show off the ancient poems he had memorized in those years. Young master, needless to say, this is Dongfang's fate. Miss Dongfang stood up with tears in her eyes, and took off her clothes in front of Feng Chang. Miss Dongfang, I am really not that kind of person. Feng Chang's dead fish face changed again, and he quickly turned his head to the side, just when he was thinking about whether he was a beast or not as good as a beast. For some unknown reason, there was a sudden flame burning in his body, as if the sow who had been beaten by Qin Feng in the life-and-death knockout match was also crazy. He will never forget this impulsive feeling in his life. No, this smell. Feng Chang also noticed something was wrong, and hurriedly looked at the red candles in the room, but before he stepped forward to confirm whether the sow in the red candle was also crazy, he was thrown to the ground by the red-eyed Miss Dongfang. Facing Miss Dongfang, who had taken off her clothes at this time, Feng Chang felt that he really couldn't be better than a beast, so he could only choose to be a beast in the end, and many more. Why does she have it too? When Feng Chang touched something, he instantly became sober. When he raised his head, the beautiful Miss Dongfang had disappeared and was replaced by the variety demon monarch. Jie 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 Jie, the old man's position as emperor has been secured. The variety demon lord looked at Feng Chang, who had already taken the bait, and couldn't help but let out the villain's exclusive laugh. How could it be you? Don't come here. Feng Chang was so frightened that he fell asleep on the spot. He watched the figure of the Lord of Changes envelop him, and finally realized the fear he had in the daytime. Boom. The skies suddenly thundered and lightning, and the pouring rain began to fall. It seems that God can't find a way to save Feng Chang, so he can only cheer him up with rain. It's crying for his tragic experience. It's raining. The gentleman who came to Huajie hurriedly looked for a place to hide from the rain. He probably won't be able to go home tonight. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for setting up a scheme to sell the chosen one and get 20 villain points. Can you talk? Qin Feng immediately became unhappy. The truth hasn't been announced yet. How can you use the word sell? If the two bastard mung beans meet their eyes and are happy together in the future, wouldn't he be wronged in vain? Let's go. Qin Feng looked at the time and knew that the opening of the Kunlun secret realm was coming soon, so he took Qianjun, Wanma and Xiaobai to the destination in the rain. As for the variety demon lord, he was already over 30 years old, and he couldn't go to the Kunlun secret realm with them. It's better to leave him alone and have a good time outside. Yes, boss. Qianjun hurriedly took out the prepared umbrella to ensure the elegance of Mr. Qin Feng, while himself and Wanma stood behind and were drenched by the rain. Slap, slap. There was a rapid sound of treading water. I saw a young man in black with sword eyebrows and starry eyes passing Qin Feng quickly, holding a very ordinary-looking long sword in his hand. Lin San. Why is he here? Qin Feng felt like getting an electric shock, and hurried back to look for it. Lin San on the opposite side also stopped, and looked back at the person he had just missed. This moment, the two confirmed their eyes. They were the ones who had been thinking about each other for 7 years. The heavy rain is pouring, and the moonlight is picturesque. The flower street was brightly lit and still bustling. Qin Feng and Lin San met again after 7 years. Standing on both sides of the flower street, regardless of the hustle and bustle and heavy rain around them, they looked back at him who had been waiting for 7 years. Boss, what's wrong with you? Wanma found that something was wrong with Qin Feng, and hurriedly stretched out his hand and shook it in front of Qin Feng's eyes. Qin Feng stared at Lin San with burning eyes, and said excitedly, "The crowd searched for him thousands of times, but when I looked back, that man was in a dimly lit place." What do you mean? Qianjun and Wanma looked back and forth between the two, and felt that there must be a story between the two. Brother Qin's eyes, why is it more unbearable than 7 years ago? With Qin Feng staring at Lin San, his little heart was beating wildly, and he felt that he was about to lose control. Xiaobai also looked at the two curiously, thinking that this scene should be accompanied by music. Flowers fall into the city as you look back, horseshoe away from your tenderness, who is still waiting for the rain to fall in the small building outside the mountain. Paddle a boat. 1 person, 1 city, 1 pot of wine. Chapter 94 Opening of the Kunlun Secret Realm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom! A thunderous thunder sounded in the sky, lighting up the small border town. Qin Feng and Lin San didn't see each other for 7 years, and they didn't mean to go forward to have an in-depth exchange. Both sides were seen moving almost at the same time, the long ink-like hair dancing wildly in the wind and rain, the long and clear sword sound surging out from the body, turning into sharp sword chi to plunder the street. The fierce sword energy seemed to tear through the air, and the sharp sound was so loud that it attracted the attention of the whole Huajie. What a strong sword energy! Qianjun and Wanma stared wide-eyed and exclaimed. They couldn't believe their eyes. Judging from the sword energy released by Lin San, the sword intent has definitely reached the 3rd level, and he has also comprehended the legendary invincible sword heart just like Qin Feng. It's not the kind of undefeated invincibility, but the kind of belief that I am invincible. His cultivation base is even a small level higher than Qin Feng's, reaching the 2nd level of Taoism. No, Qin Feng called him a good guy in his heart, before he understood the invincible Jianxin. How powerful Jianxin was blown to the sky, but after he comprehends it, it seems worthless again. Anyone who uses a sword seems to be able to comprehend it. Is it the chosen one who is strong when he meets the strong, or is Go Tiandao targeting him as the big villain? Buzz. A series of crisp sword sounds chanted in the rain, and the faces of the people eating melons around them were shocked. They saw that the swords around them were trembling, as if they were welcoming the king of the sword. The sword transforms into thousands. Lin San's eyes were like lightning, and he used the big move created by the 7 years of penance. I saw countless invisible sword chi forming in the heavy rain, making the surrounding melon-eating crowd feel as if they were in a violent storm, and their breathing was extremely short. Who is this young man? The faces of the people eating melons around changed drastically, and they could clearly feel the horror of this sword. If anyone is hit by Lin San's sword, he will definitely be cut into flesh in an instant. Great River Sword Art. Qin Feng's body vibrated in the void, and the sound of sword chant was endless, accompanied by a vast sea of sword energy sweeping across the street. The sharp sound of breaking wind completely suppressed the sound of rain, and countless sword energy converged into a rushing river, as if it could swallow everything in the world. Who are these two young men? The eyes of the surrounding melon eaters stared like copper bells, expressing that they had never seen such a terrifying kendo duel. I thought Lin San's thousands of sword chi were terrifying enough, but I didn't expect Qin Feng's day sword art to have a more shocking visual impact. Boom. The big moves of the two sides directly clashed together, countless sword chi turned into a storm and swept the world, and the surrounding streets were torn apart by the storm sword chi on the spot, scaring the melon-eating crowd to wish they had long legs to come out. Fuck, what a terrifying sword energy. Qianjun and Wanma hurriedly released their spiritual power to resist the storm of sword energy released by them. Fortunately, the two of them had the dragon scale armor given by Qin Feng, otherwise they would have to be cut into flesh on the spot by the fierce sword energy. At the same time, they were also curious about Lin San, who was the pride of Huanggu, whose swordsmanship was actually comparable to Qin Feng's. You must know that Qin Feng is the proud first day in the ancient times, and his swordsmanship is even more arrogant to the younger generation. Even the young owner of famous sword villa, a sword with the body of a heavenly sword, was suppressed to death by Qin Feng in the way of the sword, and even lost the chance to raise his head. But now there has appeared a peerless genius who comprehends the third-level sword intent and has an invincible sword heart. He can even fight Qin Feng head-on in terms of swordsmanship. The first sword after 100 years, it's really powerful. Qin Feng took 2 steps back uncontrollably, sincerely admiring Lin San's swordsmanship talent. At this time, Lin San was no longer the Lin San of 7 years ago. Without using the supreme bone and double pupils, he really wasn't sure to defeat him with swordsmanship. He is the first sword after 100 years. Qianjun and Wanma showed stunned expressions, and finally understood why the opponent's sword was so powerful. They have long heard that Lin San of the city of Tianqin has received the inheritance of the sword god of the sky, and has been evaluated by many kendo masters as the first sword in 100 years, which means that no one will be able to compete with him in 100 years. It can also be seen from the side how terrifying this person's kendo talent is. It's no surprise that he can compete with Qin Feng now. Brother Qin's sword is even stronger. Lin San also took 2 steps back, unable to calm down for a long time. Ever since he met Qin Feng 7 years ago, he knew how terrifying Qin Feng's swordsmanship talent was, but what he didn't expect was that after 7 years of hard work, he still couldn't distance himself from Qin Feng. It can be seen that not only he has been cultivating desperately in the past 7 years, but Qin Feng has also been cultivating desperately. It also made him think of what Qin Feng said 7 years ago: I, Qin Feng, am not the kind of rich man who bullies others. I am not a real man who lives by the shadows of my ancestors. I, Qin Feng, can have today all by myself. Make a piece of the sky with both hands. Apparently, he did what he said. Your sword is not weak either. Qin Feng waved his hand and took out the sky Excalibur, and slowly held the hilt with his closest right hand. Lin Sanxiang suppressed his desire to fight, and said slowly, Brother Qin, if you draw your sword now, you may miss the opening of the Kunlun secret realm. Let's talk about this battle later. Okay, let's talk about it later. Qin Feng let go of the hilt of the sword, and felt that what Lin San said made sense. From Lin San's sword just now, it can be seen that even if he can defeat Lin San, it will take some effort. But the Kunlun secret realm does not wait for anyone, and it is really not suitable to waste time here. Most importantly, when he was spying on the secret, he didn't see Lin San appearing in Hualuo City. It is very unreasonable for Lin San to appear here now. If he discovers the entrance to the Kunlun secret realm, wouldn't it be a risk of competing with him for the spring of immortality? Farewell. Lin San clasped his fists, turned around and left quickly. Before leaving, he still didn't forget to look back. How eager he was to have a hearty fencing match with Qin Feng, but he had to suppress the desire to fight in his heart, because the reason why he appeared in Hualuo City was the same as Feng Chang. He had been traveling all these years, and if he wanted to enter the Kunlun secret realm, he had to go back to Tianqin City through the border. If you fight Qin Feng, you will definitely miss the Kunlun secret realm. I think I should hold off a little longer. Qin Feng watched Lin San go away, and suddenly regretted it in his heart. As we all know, the protagonists are all stuck monsters, and they will never appear until the last moment. If Lin San is delayed for a while, he may miss the opening of the Kunlun secret realm, never mind. Anyway, it's not his style to fight head-on. It's better to wait until you enter the Kunlun secret realm and be a happy sixth child. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for taking the initiative to set up a bureau, ruining the chosen one, and getting 50 villain points. Trash. That's passive. Qin Feng looked back at the chicken, and there was a picture in his mind. No, no. Delete it quickly, delete it quickly. Boom. Thunder and lightning flashed again in the sky, and the downpour became heavier, different from the rain and thunder before. This time there were ripples in the void outside the city, and a black hole began to slowly take shape, and a world could be vaguely seen inside. It's the opening of the Kunlun secret realm. Qin Feng didn't dare to waste time, and rushed towards the entrance. Chapter 95. Come in a hurry, go in a hurry. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No way. Qian Jun and Wan Ma were stunned on the spot, saying in their hearts that the boss is really not human. In addition to successfully selling Feng Chang to the Variety Demon Lord and earning him 150 million top-quality spirit stones with tears in his eyes, he actually calculated the entrance to the Kunlun secret realm wrong. The cost of 10 top-grade spirit stones will also be reduced. Walk. Qin Feng and others ran all the way to the black hole outside the city. Without the slightest hesitation, the three of them and one rabbit jumped in. Come in a hurry, go in a hurry. Jie 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 Jie. The Variety Demon Lord couldn't help the villain's laughter, as if announcing to the world that the villain had won a crushing victory in this round. Qin Feng, Feng Chang was lying on the bed with a tear streaming from the corner of his eye. I thought this was the chicken he wanted to lose, but he didn't expect it to be someone else's chicken. Combined with the tragic life experience of Miss Dongfang told by the buster just now, one can immediately guess that the sixth child who is plotting against him behind his back is Qin Feng. It's a pity that he understood it too late. Economically, he might have lost 150 million top-quality spirit stones, but the spiritual damage would take a lifetime to heal. This will change your life against the sky. The Variety Demon Monarch rolled his eyes at Feng Chang, thinking about whether to be just in case. What are you doing? Feng Chang's dead fish face was full of horror, struggling desperately to get up, but the Variety Demon Monarch had already used Scream Throat on him to no avail. No matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't move. Jie 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 Jie, boy, it's useless to shout your throat now. The Variety Demon Lord let out a villainous laugh again, and walked towards Feng Chang step by step. No, don't come here. Feng Chang's face was full of horror. He is a pervert who kills without blinking an eye, and even feels that the Demon King of Variations is more perverted than him. Boom. The mutation suddenly appeared, and Feng Chang burst out with a terrifying evil spirit, which immediately sent the Variety Demon Lord flying. No, that old devil made the move. The Prince of Variations suddenly changed his face, remembering what Qin Feng had said to him. Feng Chang is an unreasonable creature, he must make a quick decision and hurry up. If you find something is wrong, you must not hesitate at all, you must turn around and run. It turns out that I can always trust the master. Knowing that he had no chance to score twice, the Variety Demon Lord didn't dare to hesitate, and disappeared in place with a swoosh. Qin family. The 10 patriarchs of the Qin family left the customs one after another. The ancestor said solemnly, the great battle is coming, and the Kunlun secret realm will open again. This time, the battle in the Kunlun secret realm may be extremely dangerous. Take out all the stocks at home, and try to ensure the safety of the juniors as much as possible. Yes, the 10 patriarch accepted the order with a nod, hesitant to speak but stopped. First patriarch, Xiao Hao left a letter and left. Should we wait for him? Don't worry about that kid. The ancestor waved his hand and said, he is born supreme and has his own opportunity. It would be unsightly for us to intervene forcibly. If we meet in the Kunlun secret realm, let other juniors help. The second patriarch's face was filled with embarrassment. Xiao Hao's child has a strange fate, and he has been unlucky with whoever he was with since he was a child, so the disciples of the family avoid him like a plague god. If he is really in danger in the Kunlun secret realm, I am afraid that only his brother willing to help out. Qin Feng. The atmosphere in the audience was instantly quiet. The patriarchs thought of that 8-year-old child again. He had shouldered too much for the sake of the family. Think about how much hardship and tears an 8-year-old child has suffered while studying abroad alone, but he couldn't tell outsiders, so he could only lick his wounds alone in the middle of the night. 10th Patriarch comforted. In the past 7 years, we have not been idle. We have placed many people in the Yinhua dynasty. Recently, Qin Wan even contacted Xiaofeng under the pseudonym Wanma. With him guarding Xiaofeng's side, apart from in addition to being able to take care of each other, we can also provide him with some family help. Oh, the family owes this child too much, that the first ancestor and the other side, not to mention how uncomfortable they felt, as the ancestor of the Qin family, Yu Yin's descendants should have given them a happy childhood, but now it is their failure to let an 8-year-old child bear the burden of eternal infamy for the family. At the same time, he is also proud of the fact that his family can produce a Qin Feng, who is really the emperor's gift. Luna Palace, Luna personally selected hundreds of young ladies, and the goddess Zi Yuan led the team into the Kunlun secret realm. Remember what Auntie told you, don't be impulsive when things happen, it's the kingly way to persevere. Luna was afraid that Ziyuan would not understand, and pointed to the ancestral Xuanwu to educate her. Only those who live long are considered strong. We must also learn the spirit of Xuanwu's ability to bend and stretch, and we must not force ourselves to stand out when encountering danger. Ow! Xuanwu rolled his eyes at the side, indicating a woman's mouth, a ghost that deceives turtles. Since it became the ancestral guardian beast of the Luna lineage, every generation of Luna will say the same thing to the next generation of goddesses. But in the end, without exception, when things happen, they just rush forward and do it. He also used it as a shield in front of him, and pulled it out for a walk if he had nothing to do. Understood, Auntie. Zi Yuan nodded absent-mindedly, worrying about Qin Feng in her heart. I don't know where he went, and whether there is a way to catch up with the opening of the Kunlun secret realm. Tianhong Academy, all the Tianjiao under the age of 30 came, divided into 2 formations, and supported the 2 holy sons respectively. Qin Feng didn't come. The other 2 saints cast a glance, not paying attention to Qin Feng at all. Today's Qin Feng is no longer in their eyes. He broke through from the first level of Lingwu to the first level of Dao in a month. With his ass, he knew that his foundation was completely abolished. Whether he could break through Tianzong in the future would be a problem. Just ask this kind of waste, how can they do their opponents? The teacher of Tianhong Academy said, this time you go to the Kunlun secret realm, you are going with a mission, and each of you must bring back no less than 10 pieces of fairy crystals. Those who fail to complete the mission will enter the Wanma Pagoda to practice. Myriad Demon Tower. The Tianjiao in the audience immediately exclaimed, with a look of panic in their eyes, and even the expressions of the 2 holy sons were a little unnatural. Obviously, this tower of 10,000 demons is not a good place. Blue Devil Palace. Blue Devil also personally selected hundreds of geniuses for Yulan. It's just that the Blue Devil didn't tell Yulan to be careful like the moon god, but kept telling her to sleep Qin Feng when he found a chance. It's useless for a daughter's family to have a high cultivation base, only a good marriage is king. Did you hear that? That the Blue Devil continued to mutter, you must not be like your mother who is a strong woman who manages such a big family business all day long. In order not to be remembered by outsiders, she has to practice desperately. A woman should find a capable man to serve her. Wouldn't it be nice to shelter yourself from the wind and rain and be beautiful every day? You must never ask those poor boys to understand. Can you stop being so snobby? That Yulan couldn't help but rolled her eyes, saying that my youth is my decision. You child, my mother is from here, can I lie to you? The Blue Devils were unhappy on the spot, thinking about finding an opportunity to invite Qin Feng to have dinner at home, and then feeding the 2 of them some sows. He also took care of things like crazy. Chapter 96 Entering the Kunlun Secret Realm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kunlun Secret Realm. Qin Feng and others appeared in a desolate Gobi. The sky was 3 suns mercilessly baking the earth. Why is this Kunlun Secret Realm so hot? Xiao Bai stuck out his little pink tongue hotly, feeling like he would turn into a roasted rabbit by sprinkling cumin on it. Qian Jun was sweating profusely, gasping for breath, and said, "It is said that the Kunlun secret realm has countless opportunities, and it is also very large, and it has given birth to many strange environments. There are records like this Gobi, which is said to be a Jedi. There are many people who got lost and were trapped to death, and those who can successfully get out are rare. So scary." Wanma hurriedly turned his head to look at Qin Feng, wondering if his young master could take them out. Qin Feng looked at the surrounding Gobi and didn't speak. It was exactly the same as the scene he saw when he was spying on the sky. It was in this extremely hot Gobi that Feng Cheng found the legendary spring of Wugo. The extremes of things must be reversed. The cathode produces yang, the anode produces yin and yang reciprocate. Qin Feng had to sigh with emotion. Nature is really amazing. In such a hot Gobi, it can actually breed the spring of inexhaustible scale. Just then, the system sounded. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for letting the chosen one shed a sad tear. It will take a lifetime to heal, and you will get a chance to draw a lottery. Sad tears? Alas, the Lord of Variations really doesn't know how to pity the fragrance and cherish the jade. That with a heavy heart, Qin Feng mourned for Feng Cheng for 3 seconds, and then happily called the system to start the lottery draw. Whoa! The big turntable appeared in front of my eyes again, and it also began to turn slowly. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for winning the treasure of heaven and earth, Nanming Lihua. Nanming Lihua, the divine fire bred by the heaven and the earth, the fire from the position in the gossip, is also the natal fire smelted by Suzaku, which restrains ghosts and evil things. There was a purple-blue light in Qin Feng's eyes, and he could also feel a purple-blue flame in his dantian. Different from the cold air that comes with Yulan's mysterious Yin body, Nanming Lihua is a treasure of attributes bred by heaven and earth. There are also attributes such as lightning, ice, etc. As long as they are integrated into the body, they can gain attribute attack power, and the power is not much different from Yulan's mysterious body. It's just that it's very difficult to integrate into oneself, and those who can succeed are definitely rare. Even a boss at the level of the Emperor of the Six Paths would not dare to try it lightly. Only those chosen ones with halos on would dare to ignore the infinitely close to zero success rate. This is the success rate that a villain like me can challenge. The corners of Qin Feng's eyes twitched unconsciously, and there was a big shit in his heart. Nima. This is clearly playing with him. The system opened the mouth and said, the host currently has 917 million villain points, and can spend 60 villain points to buy a Dao entering root pill. What do you mean? Genji pill can increase the success rate. Qin Feng immediately regained his energy and asked quickly. Cannot. The system replied, the system is just reminding the host to consolidate the first level foundation of Taoism, and the system really doesn't know what the host is anxious about. The Nanming Lihua extracted by the system has no success rate. It can be 100% successful if it is directly refined. You must have the awareness to cheat, don't act like you haven't seen the world, and lose the face of the system. Damn it, you didn't say it earlier. Qin Feng didn't expect the clown to be himself. He was so frightened that he almost thought he was Jie Jie, and was severely despised by the system. You didn't ask earlier. The system replied mechanically. I'm not angry with you. Qin Feng took a deep breath and exchanged for a root pill. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for spending 60 villain points and successfully exchanging for a Dao entering root pill. Boss, what's going on? Qianjun and Wanma were stunned for a moment, only to see Qin Feng sitting cross-legged under the shadow of a boulder. After entering meditation, a purple-blue flame surged around his body, which looked very strange and coquettish. This is divine fire. The pupils of Qianjun and Wanma suddenly shrank, not understanding where Qin Feng got the magic fire, but now is not the time to think about such things. I saw them looking around vigilantly like guardians to prevent anyone from disturbing Qin Feng's refining of Xinhua. Is this the divine fire? Xiao Bai jumped onto Qin Feng's lap, sat cross-legged and cultivated like a model, and sucked the Nanming Lihua leaked by Qin Feng into himself. There was no success rate, the fusion was very successful. Ah! Qianjun and Wanma were stunned. It doesn't matter if Qin Feng is not a human being, Xiao Bai is not a rabbit anymore, who can be so perverted as a decent rabbit. Daxia Palace, Princess Nanfeng stood in a large formation with rays of light reaching the sky, and behind her were thousands of disciples of the Son of Heaven. They were not the pride of the family, but the pride of the humble family. The aristocrats of those aristocratic families have returned to their respective families at this time, fighting for their own families. It is absolutely impossible to fight for the royal family. The only thing the royal family can rely on is these humble arrogance. Nanfeng, you can't let Emperor Father down again this time. Emperor Daxia stood majestically outside the formation. For Princess Nanfeng's trip to the Inui dynasty, he can be said to be very incomprehensible. It seems to be a simple task, but in the end so many people were played by Qin Feng. Even the blackened Feng Chang was humiliated in public and lost all the face of the great Xia dynasty. However, among his many sons and daughters, only one Nanfeng can take care of, and the others are all helpless. This time Nanfeng has to lead the team in the Kunlun secret realm, which can be regarded as giving her a chance to pay off her merits. Father, don't worry, Nanfeng will definitely use Qin Feng's dog head to wash away the shame of Daxia. That the anger in Princess Nanfeng's beautiful eyes could not be concealed, and her small fists were clenched even more. Originally, for Feng Chang's safety, she was ready to talk to Qin Feng again, but who knew that the Kunlun secret realm was open at this time? As long as she could get enough fairy crystals in it, the great Xia royal family would be able to reverse their previous decline. What? Qin family, what aristocratic family, what Inui dynasty? Don't take them seriously. There is also Qin Feng. He is the #1 arrogance in ancient times, yes, but beheading a real dragon who has entered the 5th level of Tao is already his limit. On the other hand, these disciples of the Son of Heaven around her were all carefully selected, and they all had the lowest level of cultivation at the 5th level of the Tao realm, and even the Tianzong realm. No matter how defiant Qin Feng is, he still has to kneel in front of so many disciples of the Son of Heaven. Qin Feng, you wait for this princess. Princess Nanfeng's eyes were full of anger and shame, and her mind was full of pictures of herself being forced to use her tongue. In order to prevent the third person from knowing about this, the best way was to cut off Qin Feng's dog's head. I'm very angry now. After Qin Feng refined Nanming Lihua, he couldn't help but read Liangquan's lines. I just feel that the Nanming Lihua in my body makes my blood boil, coupled with the merciless baking of the 3 suns above my head. The fire in my body soars, and it seems that it is about to explode. If someone appeared in front of him at this time, he would definitely grab him to put out the fire without hesitation. Bang! A figure descended from the sky. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be Feng Chang. Chapter 97 The Old Qin Who Sneaked Around Behind Him 6. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Why is he here? Qin Feng's face was full of surprises, and he never thought that Feng Chang would appear. In order to successfully make Feng Zhanghua fall into the city, he let the variety demon lord use the double insurance of Sao Crazy and Broken Throat, not to mention Feng Chang. Even a cultivator at the Yuan Dan realm might not be able to recover within 2 days, but now that Feng Chang has indeed come to the Kunlun secret realm, these chosen sons are too unreasonable. Correct. And the person he mentioned just now refers to the beautiful young lady. Qin Feng. As the saying goes, enemies are extremely jealous when meeting each other. Feng Chang stared at Qin Feng with a ferocious expression. It's the second time. He has been tricked by this 6th child for the second time. If it weren't for the sudden awakening of the old devil in his body, he would not only miss the opening of the Kunlun secret realm this time, but also endure the psychological torture of scoring twice. Today, either he died or he died. He and Qin Feng are the only ones who can walk out of the Kunlun secret realm alive. Just because you want to hurt our boss, Qianjun and Wanma snorted coldly, and rushed up with overwhelming momentum. Boom! Qianjun armed with a halberd and swept the Qianjun, only to see a dragon shadow galloping towards Feng Chang. Not to be outdone, Wanma swung the heavy hammer, and with one hammer, the horse galloped, punching the ground with hideous holes that spread hundreds of meters away before stopping. So strong. Feng Chang's dead fish face changed, and he found that the thousands of troops had become stronger. The cultivation base of the two did not change much from that in the life-and-death knockout match, but their combat power was directly increased several times after the equipment was replaced, coupled with the five-fold increase in combat power bestowed by Qin Feng. Ordinary Tianjiao are no match for them at all. Qin Feng is really generous. Fang Chang also saw that the armor and weapons on Qianjun and Wanma were not ordinary products, but were made by the dragon in the life-and-death knockout competition. These dragon-attributed equipment are rare items, but Qin Feng is willing to replace them with two of his subordinates, which is really unexpected. However, no matter how generous Qin Feng was, he armed his men to the teeth, but in the end it was nothing more than making a wedding dress for him, a time traveler, and giving him experience. Boom. I saw Fang Chang's body boiled with evil energy, turning into a meter-high golem, and a very strange Sanskrit sound resounded from the sky and the earth, Buddha magic sound. It is different from the one used in the life-and-death knockout match. At this time, his cultivation base has broken through to the Taoist realm, and he has a deeper understanding of the Buddha's magic sound. There will never be a phenomenon that the two cannot be enslaved in the life-and-death knockout match. This time they will definitely be able to enslave them, and let Qin Feng feel the pain of being besieged by the war machine he personally built. Haha, become my slave. Fang Chang laughed ferociously, as if seeing the scene of Qianjun and Wanma besieging Qin Feng after being enslaved, but the reality is completely different from the picture he imagined. Qianjun and Wanma looked at him as if they were looking at an idiot. Do you have a reaction? A serious person, who would react to him? Thousands of troops and 10,000 horses ignored Fang Chang's voice of the Buddha's demon, and rushed forward as if nothing happened. They were marked with the immortal slave seal by Qin Feng, and they can share half of Qin Feng's special combat power. In addition to the aura of the great emperor, they also have an unyielding will, which can be immune to various spiritual attacks. Although it is impossible to ignore all spiritual attacks in the world like Qin Feng, there is no problem with Fang Chang's pediatric Buddha magic voice. How so? Fang Chang stood there in a daze, expressing that he really didn't understand. With his current cultivation base, even those Tianjiao can be enslaved. On the other hand, Qianjun and Wanma are only armed to the teeth by Qin Feng, and their own strength has not reached the Tianjiao level at all. But why are they doing nothing? Boom! Before Fang Chang could think about why this happened, Qianjun and Wanma had already attacked with all their firepower. They are different from those Tianjiao who strike with precision. What they pursue is the coverage of firepower. The whole earth is covered with cracks, and dust is raised all over the sky. Qin Feng frowned aside. It was discovered that Fang Chang had actually broken through to the Taoist realm, and his foundation didn't seem too unstable. If he remembered correctly, the first time the two sides met, Fang Chang's cultivation was at the 5th level of Lingwu, and he broke through to the Taoist realm in just over a month, and his foundation was not too unstable. These chosen ones are really unreasonable. Qin Feng was speechless on the spot, and his whole body split apart. Why can these protagonists ignore the stability of the foundation and break through as much as they want? On the other hand, he either spends 7 years for the foundation, or spends hundreds of thousands of villain points to buy the foundation pill. He doesn't agree. He is going to complain, which is clearly aimed at the villain. Since you don't want to be enslaved, then go die. A look of coldness appeared on Fang Chang's dead fish face, and even more violent evil spirit was released from his body. The situation between the sky and the earth suddenly changed, and a cloud of black air turned into a huge ghost head, which opened its mouth and sucked wildly, as if it wanted to swallow everything in the sky and the earth. What is this? Qianjun and Wanma's expressions changed drastically, and they hurriedly used the jacked pendant to stabilize their figures, so as not to be sucked in by the huge ghost head. But soon they discovered that something was wrong. The life essence in their bodies was being sucked away at a speed visible to the naked eye, and if it continued like this, it would have to be sucked dry by Fang Chang. Swallow magic power, devour everything. There was a look of madness on Fang Chang's face, and he felt that his body was suddenly full of strength. This is the devouring magic skill he got from the old devil in his body. It is a magical skill created by the old devil for tens of thousands of years of practice. It can devour everything in the world to strengthen himself and strengthen his own foundation. although practicing other people's god-level exercises cannot achieve Dzogchen, nor can they display the strongest form of devouring magic skills, but they can stand on the shoulders of giants to see the world and create more powerful magic skills for themselves in the future. It is not too simple to devour these little karamis now. Even Qin Feng's sixth child can't escape his devouring, and many more. Where are the old six of Qin? Feng Chang's face changed suddenly, and he found that Qin Feng had disappeared. Before he could react, he felt a chill coming from behind him, chilling his back, the feeling of being stared at by the sixth child. It's Qin Feng. There was a look of panic on Feng Changshi's face, and he looked behind desperately from the corner of his eyes. I saw that Qin Feng had circled behind him at some point, and the sky sword turned into 9 small swords, and the sharp sword points pointed directly at his freshly withered flowers. Damn it, this old six. Feng Chang has been completely driven crazy. He really didn't understand how people could be so shameless. He is obviously the #1 arrogant man in the ancient times, with strong strength and extraordinary talent, but he never fights people head-on, and insists on sneaking around behind him to be a shameless sixth. Chapter 99. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom. The breath in Feng Chang's body suddenly rose, and the surrounding ground couldn't bear it and began to crack continuously. Even if the wound cracked under the blessing of this force, he didn't have the slightest intention to stop. So strong. Qianjun and Wanma looked extremely solemn, and rushed forward without saying a word, trying to stop Feng Chang from cheating. It's up to you. Feng Chang's face became grim with pain, and there was an unprecedented madness in his eyes. I saw 2 golden and black rays of light erupting from Feng Chang's body, converging into a huge half-devil, half-Buddha statue, which is more than 10 meters high and looks very strange. Bang. Before Qianjun and Wanma got close, they were blown away by the powerful aura. Buddha and demon coexist. Qin Feng frowned slightly. I remember reading related records in the Moon God Palace, which perfectly integrated the power of Buddha and demon. There are demons in the Buddha, and Buddhas in the demons. It seems that in the life and death knockout round last time, although he interrupted Feng Chang's comprehension of the true meaning of Buddha and demon, Feng Chang did not gain nothing, and he still comprehended the coexistence of Buddha and demon. Thousand-handed Tathagata. Feng Chang looked up to the sky with a ferocious face and shouted loudly, and the statue of Buddha and demon behind him turned into 1,000 arms. Great River Sword Art. The corners of Qin Feng's clothes began to move automatically in the absence of wind, and the sound of sword chanting in the void around him was endless. The vast sea of sword energy swept across the world, and the sharp sound of breaking wind resounded through the desolate Gobi. Countless sword energy converged into rivers and galloped towards Feng Chang. Boom! Countless fist shadows and countless sword chi clashed together, causing ripples to spread in all directions, and the ground was blasted with countless hideous cracks by the two, which began to collapse continuously. This TM is really a showdown at the Dao realm. Qianjun and Wanma hugged each other tremblingly, feeling like a small boat sailing in a storm, as if the boat would be destroyed at any moment. Qin Feng, you are dead this time, Feng Chang roared with a ferocious face. He had already put his life aside. I saw him completely ignoring the day sword energy shot by Qin Feng. Even though there were sword marks on his body and blood gushing out continuously, his eyes were always fixed on Qin Feng, and he was determined not to let Qin Feng transform into a Qin Lao lose chance. A humble smile appeared on the corner of Qin Feng's mouth and said, "Let's not talk about whether you can kill me. Anyway, Princess Nangfeng's first kiss does not belong to you, Feng Chang, but to me, Qin Feng. By the way, after you ran away, I tasted it myself. It's very moist. Old devil, power, I want more power." Just now, he was provoked by Qin Feng on the spot, raised his head and roared loudly with red eyes. Now it has nothing to do with interests and integrity, he just wants to use all his strength to kill this shameless Qin Lao Lu. Boom. I saw Feng Chang's aura began to rise again, and the phantom of Buddha and demon coexisting behind him became more solid, and the ground centered on him also began to collapse, and hideous cracks continued to spread. Yes, that's how it feels. Feng Chang felt the ever-increasing surge of energy in his body, and he felt like he was doing well again when the weather was clear and the rain was over. Use it to your heart's content. The old devil in Feng Chang's body laughed fiercely, lending his power to Feng Chang without reservation. As Feng Chang uses his power more and more, his will be weakened little by little, and his power will be integrated into Feng Chang's body little by little. When the power of both parties is perfectly integrated, it is time for him to take Feng Chang away. At that time, he will have everything Feng Chang has, which he calls the most perfect resurrection. It's just that compared to Feng Chang, it's Qin Feng who he wants to seize more in his heart. Originally thought that Feng Chang was already invincible in the world, but he didn't expect Qin Feng to be more perverted than him. It's okay to use various methods, and his cultivation talent is unheard of. If he remembered correctly, before Qin Feng participated in the life and death knockout competition, he was at the 9th level of extraordinary, but he reached the 1st level of Taoism in just 1 month, breaking through 2 major realms in a row. Looking at the entire history of Huanggu, I am afraid that no one dared to make such a breakthrough. The most terrifying thing is that his foundation is extremely solid. You know, it took him tens of thousands of years to create the magic devouring skill, and he can only barely guarantee a solid foundation. In front of Qin Feng, he is simply a copycat product in the cottage, and it is basically useless. Boom. Thousand-handed Tathagata erupted with even more powerful power, and the places he passed were in chaos, and the Day sword art, which had originally had the upper hand, began to be suppressed. Damn it, it's so strong. Qin Feng's eyes suddenly flashed with a purple-blue light, and a group of purple-blue flames burst out all over his body. Immediately, the monstrous river of sword energy disappeared, and was replaced by Nanming Lihua soaring into the sky. Countless purple-blue flames of sword energy gathered to form a river, and the surging sea of flames was even more turbulent than before. This is... Feng Chang's eyes stared like copper bells, but he felt his head buzzing. 1 second Qin Feng was still praising him for being strong, and the next second he took out the legendary Nanming Lihua. Nanming Lihua, which specializes in restraining evil things, also restrained the evil spirit in his body, Nima. Is it interesting to play with him? Back, 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 back. The old devil in Feng Chang's body panicked, and made Feng Chang run away in horror. You know, he is a soul body now, and he is still a soul body that cultivates demons. No matter what angle you look at, he belongs to the ranks of evil things. Drop a thing, Feng Chang asked unwillingly. If I give you control over my physical body, can you help me destroy Qin Feng? When you are an old man, you are a god. The old devil cursed anxiously. This is the secret realm of Kunlun, where the laws of heaven and earth are suppressed severely. It is already awesome that this old man can enter and lend you his power. Don't be naughty. Back, back, back. If you don't leave, it will be too late. Damn. Feng Changxiu's face was full of unwillingness. I thought that Qin Feng could be wiped out with the power of the old devil, but who knew that Qin Feng actually had Nanming Lihua who specializes in fighting evil, as if holding a tissue and happily clicking on the browser, what he saw but it's illegal or something. Although he is not afraid of death, he will never send it to death, and many more. Feng Chang's expression was suddenly taken aback, as if Watson had discovered a blind spot. After entering the Kunlun secret realm, the old devil couldn't come out to control his body, and he was afraid of Qin Feng's Nanming Lihua, which means that times have changed, and he can threaten the old devil in turn. Great River Sword Art. Qin Feng's sword energy gushed out all over his body, and the sound of sword chant was endless. The vast sea of flame and sword energy covered the sky and the earth. The sharp sound of breaking wind resounded through the desolate Gobi, and the turbulent purple-blue sea of fire was like a smashing bamboo, annihilating Feng Chang's thousand-handed Tathagata in the sky and the earth. Qin Feng, just wait for me, I will definitely come back. Feng Chang glanced at Qin Feng unwillingly, clutched his buttocks and chose a strategic transfer. Chapter 100 Change of Fate Against the Sky, the Throne of the Great Emperor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for beating the son of the Chosen One, covering his ass and escaping, and getting 30 villain points. What kind of son is this? He is simply a boy who gives away money. Qin Feng turned on the system and glanced at it, earning more than 200 million villain points in a big battle. now the balance of the system account has reached 2,617 million points, which made him dare to add 2 eggs when he was not rich. Hoo. Qin Feng exhaled deeply, and the flames around him dissipated. Boss, let's go after him. Without saying a word, Qianjun and Wanma picked up the guy and went after him. No need to chase. Qin Feng stopped the two of them, just relying on the horror halo attribute of the chosen ones. No one can catch up with them if they want to run. Even if they catch up, it will only give them equipment and experience. He won't do this loss-making business. It's better to take advantage of Fang Chang's injury now, and hurry up to get the Wugo spring in his pocket, so as not to let fate make them meet unexpectedly. Yes. Thousands of troops and thousands of horses stopped, not daring to disobey the order. Bang. A muffled sound suddenly came from Qin Feng's body, and the anger in his body finally reached the critical point and erupted, causing the aura to surge a lot in an instant, and his cultivation directly broke through to the second level of enlightenment. Again, broke through again. The corners of Qianjun and Wanma's eyes twitched, and a groundhog howled in their hearts. Nima. They overtook them in a month. Can they still have fun playing in the future? Qin Feng. After Fang Chang ran for a while, he found that Qin Feng had not chased him. But he was not happy about it, but felt that Qin Feng was humiliating him. The real humiliation of an enemy is not knocking him to the ground, but ignoring him from the beginning to the end, as if he was an insignificant existence. Now that Qin Feng didn't catch up and kill the grass, it means that he is dispensable in his eyes. The old devil in the body said, "Boy Fang Chang, the old man advises you not to provoke Qin Feng. That guy's talent is unprecedented, and it is not good for you to provoke him." Yes. Fang Chang did not accept such remarks at all, although he is at a disadvantage now. As a traveler of Red Star, his belief in himself as the protagonist has never wavered. From the opportunities he got, it can be seen that he has a lot of luck. According to the regulations of the TV series, justice must win, villains must lose, and the final victory must belong to Fang Chang. That the old devil was completely speechless. The last time he was speechless was the last time. He really couldn't figure out why he still had such honeyed confidence after being pressed and rubbed repeatedly by Qin Feng on the ground so that he didn't need to use force to go to the latrine. Fang Chang suddenly said, "Old devil, I know that the magic devouring skill you passed on to me is incomplete, and now I ask you to pass on the full version of the magic devouring skill to me." The old devil said mockingly, "Boy, who do you think you are? You dared to ask the old man for the full version of the demon-swallowing art. Could it be that you were fooled by Qin Feng? You don't pass it on, do you?" Fang Chang didn't have any extra nonsense, turned around and limped back. "Wait, what are you going to do?" The old devil asked anxiously, feeling uncomfortable. "Anyway, I'm already dirty, and I've lost Nan Feng, so I might as well go back and die in Qin Feng's hands." Fang Chang also learned Qin Feng's shamelessness, assuming that if he doesn't give it, he will just shoot it and break up. Fuck. The old devil couldn't help but swear, and those who didn't know thought Qin Feng was possessed. However, Qin Feng's Nanming Lihua was indeed his nemesis, and he spared his life so much that he didn't dare to gamble with Fang Chang. Finally, after some bargaining, he told Fang Chang a small part. "Take your time, don't rush." Fang Chang didn't push the old devil too fast, and believed that sooner or later he would be able to obtain the full version of the devouring magic power, so as to create a more powerful magic power. "Forbearance, I have to learn forbearance now." Fang Chang covered his buttocks and looked back, vowing to make Qin Feng pay back 100-fold. Outside Kunlun's secret, in a small alley, during the day, he placed a bamboo basket full of vegetables beside an old beggar. This is an old beggar he met on the street after his cultivation base was abolished. Although the two of them didn't communicate much, they still begged for food side by side. Also, because I have experienced those painful years, after being picked up by Qin Feng, I often bring food to the old beggar. "You finally came." The old beggar was not at all embarrassed. He stretched out his gray hand to take it, even if it stained Bai Ri's clean clothes. Bai Ri didn't mind at all. "Old man, eat slowly." Looking at the wolf-eating old beggar during the day, he seemed to see himself who was not as good as a dog back then. It was Qin Feng who didn't mind picking him up to see him as a person. Hey, isn't this the pride of the Bai family, Bai Ri? A group of men walked in with a smirk. I heard that you were picked up by Qin Feng recently. As expected, only trash is collected. Two trash make a pair. You are not allowed to speak ill of the master. Bai Ri suddenly became angry, rushing forward to teach the other party a lesson. He can bear others saying bad things about him, but he absolutely does not allow anyone to say bad things about Qin Feng. If it weren't for Qin Feng, he would still be living a life worse than a dog, struggling painfully in the dark world. Just rely on you trash. The other party showed an extremely contemptuous smile, and as soon as he rushed up, he knocked Bai Rigan to the ground. Delicious, that the old beggar didn't seem to see being beaten during the day, and he still sucked his muddy fingers with his mouth while eating delicious food. Damn, still eat, that the other party was obviously not happy with anything, and he was going to teach the old beggar a lesson. Don't want. Seeing this, Bai Ri hurried forward and protected the old beggar under his body. This child has a really good character. After going through so much pain, he is still full of kindness to the world. It is really rare, that there was a touch of approval in the old beggar's frightened eyes. It was time for the world to remember the golden legend about him. On the other side, the variety demon lord was frightened by Feng Chang and went berserk all the way, but accidentally fell into a hole in the ground and was teleported to a mysterious space. What is this place? The variety demon lord looked around and saw a palace. Walking into the palace, I saw a beautiful woman with red lips who had long since lost her vitality. The life of the other party was still written on the wall of the palace. Enter the world at the age of 10, be famous in the world at the age of 20, be powerful in the ancient times at the age of 100, become the emperor at the age of 1,000, and create a magic skill that can change the fate of the gods at 10,000 years, which can greatly increase the chance of breaking through the emperor, the sunflower cannon. If you want to practice this skill, you must first go to the palace. Looking at the cultivation method recorded on the wall, the expression on the face of the variety demon lord is absolutely wonderful. Fuck, between the throne and that 1 or 2 inches, I'm hesitating again. The variety demon lord raised his hand and slapped himself. He even lost his integrity, and he still cares about an inch or 2.